Some of the materials that you'll need to make this stuffed sheep are scissors, some strong thread. This is upholstery thread, or you can just probably use regular thread, just you'll have to quadruple it to make it stronger. Some embroidery floss, and then for the eyes, you could just use little pieces of felt or something, or little buttons. These are black beads, a needle, some dark brown or brown felt, and some fake fleece material, and regular glue, or I will be using a glue gun, so I think it's easier. So let's get started. So this circle is as wide as a piece of paper, so it's 8.5 inches wide. Also, forgot to mention, one of the things you're going to need is some batting. So I'll cut that out. You'll just want to cut out a little kind of an ellipse shape that's flat on the top for the tail, and then for the sheep's little face tuft on the top of his face, you'll just cut another ellipse. Now I'll cut out the tail and the little scrap corners of the circle that I cut for his body. Tail. And tuft. With the brown felt, you'll want to cut down from the long edge 3 inches. So I'll cut there. And you'll also want to cut a brown face, and that's about 1 inch wide and 1.5 inches long. And then you'll want to cut 2 little ears out that look like leaves with a little stem on the end. So I'll get that cut out. Now that you have this long strip, what you'll want to do is roll it lengthwise. I have to turn it this way. You'll roll it up, and then with your hot glue or regular glue, put a strip of glue there to seal it shut. So you've got this felt roll or tube. Just finishing up rolling this and gluing it on the outside edge. There. Now we have a nice long felt roll. Take the roll, cut it in half, and then cut those 2 in half. So you'll have 4 legs. Now this ugly gluey seam, we'll want to have those on the inside. So that the the ungluey part, this side, is what's going to show with the 4 legs all squished together. Let's see, this side here, and like that. You want to put all 4 legs, they look like little logs, together with those seams in the inside, and then hot glue all that together. Then we'll trim off the ends so that they're nice and even. Now we'll work on the sheep's face. I've split this strand of embroidery floss so that it's, instead of 6 threads, it's got 3 threads, so it's not quite so thick. And then about in the middle of his face, on the left side, I'm going to sew, and I put a knot in the end of the thread. Now I'm going to sew on an eye about halfway down. And like I said, you can use felt, or maybe some googly eyes, or buttons, or, there went one of the beads, buttons for eyes. I just chose to use beads, these little black beads, so we'll get eye number 1 on. If I can find that other bead that rolled off. Put on that eye. Now for his nose, we'll put the needle up under his left eye. And now back through under his right eye. Then don't pull that tight. And then a little bit lower than where you went up and down with the embroidery floss, but right in between, just a little lower. I'm going to try and make his nose. And then pull the needle up above that thread so that it will end up making a V shape. Now put the thread back down more toward the bottom of his face. And over to the left. Back down through that same spot. Now over to the right, for the other side of his smile, back down through the same spot. Now I'll just tie that off in a knot in the back. With our fleece piece, with the wrong side up, and the threaded needle with the stronger thread, this is the, like I said, upholstery thread, but if you want to just use several thicknesses of regular thread, that should work. I'm going to just baste about a 1/2 inch in from the cut edge, and I want to leave like a 5-inch tail here. You don't need to put, in fact you won't need to or want to put a knot in the end of the thread. This is going to be all pulled together and gathered. When you've stitched all the way around, then take the ends of your thread and tie, I guess it's a 1/2 knot, but I'm going to put that around a few times. It just helps it hold it a little better. Pull that up a little bit. Make a little scoop, and then get some batting. You'll want enough that it will fit into your hands. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to make a little dip in the middle of that bunch of batting. Stick that in there, and then I'm going to put the legs in that dip with some hot glue so the legs won't fall out. Put a little bit on the bottom of the legs and in there in the batting. Like that. Now I can start pulling these ends of the thread and tuck in the batting as you go. Now if you don't have strong thread, when you start pulling this tight, it's going to break. So you need several layers or really good strong thread. Now when you get it this tight, you need somebody to hold that so you can tie it off in a really strong knot. So I'm going to go find somebody to hold that and finish tying it into a knot. Okay, I got that tied on. It sure helps when somebody can stick a thumb on that half knot while you tie the other half. Now what you'll want to do is, either with your glue or hot glue, is take this little tail piece, put some hot glue or glue on there, and fold it in half. Like that. I'm going to let that sit and cool off. Now I'm going to take the face piece, put some hot glue on the back, around the top. I'm not going to do the bottom half, just the top part. And then I need to decide which side I want to be my front. I guess that will be my front, and then that will be my front right there. Get it in the camera view. Stick the face on. Like that. Now we're going to glue on his little ears. The top of his head or forehead. Put that one on. Put that one on. Get some of this glue gun string off. Now we need to get the little tuft and glue that on over the ears where that little stem thing is. Like that. Right above his eyes. Now, turn it around. We're going to glue his tail on. Here's the point part. I'm going to put glue on the flat end. Just on the opposite side of his face. Just stick on his tail. Like that. And then he's all done. Cute. Now, if you want to, you can just get some thread, that heavy-duty thread, and just make a stitch in the back fur. Make sure you go all the way through so you're not just pulling off the fleece, I mean, not fur. And make a stitch and tie it with as long a thread as you want, and then you can hang it on a doorknob, Christmas tree, or whatever you'd like to hang him from. He's just so cute. Or if you cut the legs flat enough, he can stand up on his own. And then one last thing you might want to do is do a little cloven little hoof thing there on his front little legs. Don't know if you can see that or not. There. And he's all done.